Romans believed that there were gates to the underworld, and the key to get in was to sacrifice a certain creature. Did they succeed? Which poor animals did the gate demand? Was it only rumor, or was it God's will? Or maybe there's a scientific reason for this. Can you walk through the gates of hell and live? The Romans believed so, and they sacrificed animals at what they believed to be the entrances to the underworld, all across the ancient Mediterranean. The sacrifices were healthy bulls, which were led down to the gates of hell and died quickly, without human intervention. But the castrated priests who accompanied them, known as eunuchs, returned just fine. Now, a new study of one ancient site suggests that these so-called miracles may have a simple geological explanation. As it was discovered only 7 years ago, the gate to hell at the ancient city of Hierapolis, in what is now Turkey, is a stone corridor leading to a small man-made cave. It was built into one wall of a rectangle-shaped open-air structure topped by a temple and surrounded by rising stone seats for an audience. You know, a kind of amphitheater. Geologically, the city itself is in one of the territory's most active areas. Over 2,000 years ago, its thermal springs were considered to have enormous heating powers. But there's a deep crack in the rock under Hierapolis that gives off volcanic carbon dioxide, that's CO2, which lets out a visible fog non-stop. The gate, also called plutonium for Pluto, the god of the underworld and beyond, is built directly over it. In 2011, archaeologists proved that the gate is still lethal. Birds that fly too close suffocate and die instantly. Just recently, volcanobiologist Hardy Fons at the University of Duisburg-Essen led a research team which has studied the shrine's killing purposes in detail. Fons and his colleagues measured the arena's CO2 density over time and found that during the day, the sun's heat made the glass disappear. But at night, the gas that is greatly heavier than the air billows out and creates a CO2 lake on the protected arena floor. It is especially deadly at dawn, when the CO2 concentration is about 40 centimeters above the arena floor and reaches 35%. That is enough to suffocate and kill animals or even people in a few minutes, says Fons. But the density falls quickly with height. So the taller you stand, the less dangerous it is. The eunuchs likely made their sacrifices only in the mornings or evenings when the density of the gas was highest, says Fons. The animals to be sacrificed were not tall enough to keep their heads above the CO2 lake, and as they became dizzy, they would have stepped even lower, exposing them to higher levels of CO2 and suffocating them as there would have been no oxygen for them to breathe. The priests, however, stood taller than the gas lake's height, and might have even stood on large stones to keep their heads even higher. They knew that the deadly breath of Hierapolis could only reach a certain maximum height and not any higher, says Fons. Strabo, an ancient Greek historian who visited the plutonium nearly 2,000 years ago, first mentioned that the priests could even have placed their heads inside the gate without feeling any bad effects. Strabo guessed that the reason for this immunity may have been their castration. Fons believes they knew of the local chemical in the environment. For example, he thinks the priests would have been careful to avoid getting too close to the gate at any time but noon when the shrine was safe. The Italian archaeologist Francesco D'Andrea, who led the team that found the plutonium in 2011, has his house. His team has found a lot of oil lamps around to hell, suggesting priests may have risked their lives to get near it at night, in spite of its dangerous CO2 levels. The new discoveries are tremendously exciting, says Gil Rinberg, a classicist who has done research on Greek and religious beliefs. This scientific information confirms our ancient sources and offers not only an explanation as to why people could intersafe, but also why the animals die. It is quite probable that at least some of the other plutoniums worked the same way.